Hey everybody, welcome back to Caroline's Closet. I did a 6-month review of my time on Mercari, Poshmark, Amazon, Etsy, everything but eBay because I've been there forever. And the Mercari one did seem to get a lot of interest. A lot of people seem curious about selling on Mercari. And so I'm going to do a 1-year update. I'm not going to do Etsy because I've given up on Etsy. It just wasn't the majority of what I sell, and one extra platform that I don't need to deal with anymore. So I'm not going to do Etsy, and I'm not going to do Amazon because I am still figuring out my best selling strategy on Amazon, and they have changed 4 different times in how they deal with their FBA, their storage fees, and other aspects of selling on Amazon within my first year. So I'm not going to do an update on Amazon until I get a much better grasp of how it's going and how I want to proceed with it. But I will do one for Mercari and Poshmark. So here's my Mercari 1-year update. I will show off a little of my store, what I sell, and you can see that. And then as far as my stats on Mercari and any platform, some people have asked me, well, I only want to sell on eBay. I only want to sell on Mercari. I only want to sell on Poshmark. So how much do you think you could make if you were only doing that? That's impossible for me to say, especially on Mercari, because I delete 10 times as much stuff off Mercari as what I sell on Mercari, because it sells faster on Amazon, Etsy, Poshmark, eBay, etc. So all of those items that I delete, normally they have people that liked them, normally they've had some interest, but they just sold faster somewhere else. It's very likely I could have triple or quadruple the sales on Mercari by this point if I hadn't been deleting all of my stuff as it sold on other platforms. So that is hard to say. I have only sold 125 items in a year's time on Mercari. When I did my 6-month update, I had sold 25, and I had just really slowly been putting stuff on there. I do not cross-post everything to Mercari. I am mainly cross-post stuff that I cannot cross-post to Poshmark, trying to stick with 2, maximum of 3 platforms for each item. But anything that I sell that I have multiples of, or anything that's super unique, or anything that can't go on Poshmark is likely going to go in my Mercari store. And I have found that buyers on Mercari are expecting a cheaper price and higher deal than what I might price things at on other sites. So I do try to take that into consideration. I'm not going to sell stuff cheaper than what I want to get because I do want to make money, but I do take that into consideration, and there might be some things that I sell slightly cheaper on Mercari than I do on other sites. I also get 10% as opposed to 20% seller fees on Mercari. I'm not paying promoted listing fees and other things that I'm paying on eBay. So I take all of that into consideration. And up until last week, I was getting cheaper shipping on most items on Mercari. So that was a consideration as well for my pricing. But I'm not going to sell cheaper than what I want to get something for just because I'm selling it on a platform where people expect cheaper merchandise. Alright, so here is my Mercari store or listings. I now have over 500 active listings on Mercari. This leads me to my first and foremost and biggest complaint is that there is no easy way to sort or filter or search through my own listings, at least not that I've found. So when something sells on another site, eBay or Poshmark or something, I have to scroll through pages upon pages upon pages to get to one of the older listings and get it deleted. And there are times when I scroll right past something and I know it's on here, so then I have to go back through and find it. I can normally tell because I kind of know around when I listed something. So once I see other items that I know I listed around that same time, I can find it a little easier. But that is my biggest gripe first and foremost. So if you're from Mercari and you're watching this, please, 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 please find a good way for sellers to sort within their own inventory, or even other people's inventory. You can do a main search, but because the title character limitation is so low, I don't always have the same words in my title on Mercari as I might on other sites, and it doesn't pick up words from my description like it does on other sites. So that is my first and biggest complaint about selling on Mercari, is just the inability to search and sort my own listings, maybe even categorize them or departmentalize them, or just be able to see toys versus clothing, anything of that nature, men's versus women's. Now you'll see that my items on Mercari are widely diversified. I don't really have a set niche on Mercari because I haven't really figured out what the top, what sells best as opposed to other sites. It's very random for me. At first I wasn't selling any clothes on Mercari, so I stopped listing clothing, and then I started getting some clothes sales, so I was like, hey, I'll try it again. But I remove more clothes off Mercari than I do off any other site. So my newer listings, I am only listing clothing items that are either super unique and high-end, and I want to get them as much exposure as possible, or items that I have multiples of. Speaking of multiples, that's one of my other complaints about listing on Mercari. I have these boots in 4 different sizes, and I have multiple pairs of each size. I think I'm actually down to just one of a couple of them. But I have to do a separate listing for each size, each style, which is fine, but then when they sell, I have to completely relist it. As opposed to other sites where I can either do like a sell similar, or relist an old sold item, or even better, list it with multiple quantity available. So that would be another big gripe as a seller on Mercari. These stockings from Christmas, I'll probably just pull them soon and relist closer to next Christmas time. But I had multiples of them, and so I did sell a couple, and each time they sold, if they sold on Mercari, I had to go back in and create a new listing for the next one. And in fact, I'm going to delete that now just to show off another point with Mercari and this laptop being super slow. With Mercari, if I go into an item and edit it or delete it or do anything to it, let's see, hopefully it'll let me do this quickly, it bounces me right back to the top of my listings. So if I'm trying to do multiple edits of old items on Mercari, or deleting a bunch of old items, each time I do one, it takes me back to the beginning of my list, and I have to go back down and start scrolling through multiple listings again to get back to where I was. And it's the same way on the app. Scrolling through my listings on the app, I can promote from there, but if I actually go in and edit a listing or make any changes or delete a listing, then it pops me back up to the start of my list. So there's that, and that is my store with over 500 items currently listed. When I did my 6-month update for Mercari, let's see, I don't have anything in progress, I don't think. Mercari's been super slow for the last couple weeks, so I only have 1 item in progress waiting for a rating. And here's my completeds. When I did my 6-month update, I had only sold 25 items so far on Mercari. I think I only had about 100 active at that time. Now I'm up to 120 sales on Mercari, and you'll see kind of scrolling through what has sold for me. It's a lot of toys, and there's one tote bag, collectibles, Christmas time I sold several Santas and things of that nature. There are a few clothing pieces that have sold. Men's clothing does surprisingly well for me on Mercari. Bodysuits, a girl's beaded flower girl outfit, sunglasses, but mainly the majority of my sales on Mercari have been either large lots of clothing or toys, knickknacks, and collectibles. So this is definitely where I cross-post all of my non-clothing items, and most of my clothing items just go to eBay and Poshmark, just for that reason. But I am up to 125 total sales on Mercari, so 100 of those sales have come in the last 6 months and only 25 in my first 6 months. Past my completed. So there you go, that's my store, that's what I'm selling on Mercari. It's not huge. I've made maybe $1,400 total after fees and then shipping and everything in my first year on Mercari. I could have easily tripled, quadrupled that, maybe even 10 times that if I cross-posted every item that I list to Mercari. So that's not saying that that's all you could expect to make. I maybe post 2 items a day on Mercari now. I try to get something new up there every day, just to keep it active. I also was trying to go back through and every day pick at least one of the oldest items and relist it. Now I'm a little skeptical of doing that because the cost of shipping went up. So everything that's already listed is grandfathered into their initial shipping price, and if I relist anything, I'm going to have to charge more. So yes, it is a good bump to get back to the top and get more active offers or likers, but there's a price to pay for that. So I haven't done it. I probably will shortly go back and at least some of the really old stale ones I'll relist and see what can happen, especially since some of them are more summery items that were listed last summer and didn't sell and might have a better chance now as the weather gets warmer. Speaking of likers, that is another one of my pluses and complaints about Mercari. They recently added the feature that you can send offers to your likers or promote to your likers as opposed to just promoting and dropping the price in general, which is great, but you can't send the same offer to new likers. So if I've sent an offer last week to 10 people that liked one of my items and 5 more people like it this week and I want to send a new offer, it doesn't let me send the same offer that I sent to those first 10 people. So Mercari, again, if you're watching, if you want this offer to liker feature or promote to likers feature to work, you have to be able to send new offers to new likers and not just continuously drop the price. Otherwise, it's really no different than promoting to everybody. I'm not giving those 5 new people the same opportunity to buy the item at 10 or 20% off that the last 10 people got. Now I'd have to go to 30 or 40% off for everybody, which might be a little lower than what I want. So I do like the opportunity to send out offers or promote just to certain people, but I'm scared to use it now when I get somebody that likes something that I really want to sell, because what if somebody else likes it tomorrow and I can't send them the same offer? So there is another downfall. And then there's the shipping. And honestly, they're screwing themselves with the allowing sellers to ship on your own, because anytime that it makes sense for me to ship on my own, I'm gonna do it. And I was doing it before. Instead of the $4.25 shipping, if I had like a piece of jewelry or something that was 5 ounces and I could ship it otherwise for $2.66 with pirate ship, or even cheaper just going to the post office, I was doing that. So the only time I used their $4.25 shipping was if I was selling something that was 13 ounces, 14 ounces, and it was not going to make much difference, or it might be cheaper for me to ship it that way. Same with the 1 to 3 pound packages. The $6.50 that I could ship on FedEx before was great. It was cheaper than priority mail on eBay or any other site. But now, all of those 1 to 3 pound packages prices went up $3. And it no longer makes sense for me to use it for the majority of what I sell. A lot of the items I sell, if they're over a pound, can fit in a padded flat rate mailer. Padded flat rate mailers now are $7.33 for me to ship on Pirate Ship or on eBay. So instead of paying, I don't know, I think it's like $9.80 and $11.50 or something are the new prices for 1 to 3 pounds, I can save $2 or more shipping it in a padded flat rate envelope or a small flat rate box, or even general flat rate packaging or general priority mail packaging. A lot of times only costs me $8 or $9 to send in the 1 to 2 pound range. So the only time that I select that I want to use their shipping is if the item is too big for a padded flat rate and I'm charging shipping separately and making the buyer pay for it. Because if you do ship on your own, you have to take it out of your earnings, so you have to factor the shipping into your sale price, which is totally understandable, and I do that on eBay when I do free shipping anyways. So I get it, but when you're allowing sellers to ship on their own, they're gonna do it when it makes sense to do it, and they're not gonna do it when it doesn't make sense to do it, which means your shipping is only gonna get used towards the higher end of those weight ranges and the higher end of that price range, where it's going to, you're not going to be making up the difference by selling the cheaper shipping cost at a higher price, because nobody's going to be paying it. So I think that's where Mercari screwed themselves, is by allowing sellers to ship on their own. If you look at Poshmark's model, 1 to 5 pounds, 1 to 5 pounds, or anything up to 5 pounds, $6.79. That's cheaper to ship anything, any priority package up to 5 pounds on Poshmark than it is for me to ship a padded flat rate mailer anywhere else. And they negotiate that price. Their price increased with the recent post office price increases, but they do not allow you the opportunity to utilize any other method of shipping on their platform. So I think that's why they can get a lower price agreement through the post office. And I don't know, maybe they even subsidize it with part of the 20% that we pay them. I'm not sure on that, but their prices now are the best for shipping, and it used to be Mercari. So I think they are definitely ruining their streak there. But okay, so that's done with that side note. There aren't a lot of other things I don't like about Mercari. I wish there was better reporting. I wish I could sort through my listings. I wish there were more customized sizing when you're listing clothes. I really hate listing jeans on Mercari when the only sizes they have listed are the inch sizes, and you can't put these are size 12s. So that's another definite disadvantage on Mercari, because it's harder for people to search if they know they're size 12, but the listings aren't marked that way, and they have to search by like size 32, 30. I don't even know what the conversion is. So then for sellers, we have to kind of guess at the conversion, which isn't the same on all sizes. So that's a downside. Shoe sizing, they automatically assume that like a size 6 is a size 36.5 European size. Well, sometimes when I'm actually selling the shoes that list the European size, it doesn't match up with that. It might say 36 or 37, but they just assume in their drop down that one is going to automatically correlate to the other, which is okay, I guess, because it limits the number of fields you have to manually fill in. But I consider it a downsize and a little annoying. Yeah, that's really it. I like Mercari. It's super, super, super easy to list on. If you're new to reselling, especially if you're reselling hard goods, I definitely recommend Mercari. But the platform needs a little work. Another annoying thing is that the app and the website are not equal. There's things that you have to go to the app for. I like working off of my laptop. A lot of people do. A lot of people also work just off their mobile devices, but it would be nice if there was, if they were equal. I can't look at offers or accept offers on the laptop. I have to open it on my phone or tablet to do the offers. I cannot do promoting on my laptop. I have to do that on my phone or tablet. So there are different downsides using one or the other. Editing of pictures, I wish there was better editing, even just rotating pictures, because for some reason when I take pictures on my phone, they will show up properly on eBay and Poshmark, but Mercari they'll be sideways. And there's no way within Mercari to flip them around, so I have to do that in advance and then add them to the listing. But I don't know, let me know what you think of Mercari and how well you do and what you feel are the best items for Mercari. I definitely have better luck with like vintage and hard goods on Mercari, but I've heard other people say they sell a lot of clothing on Mercari. So let me know, and let me know how often you remove old items and relist, because I'm very curious about how much of that other people do as well. Comment below and look forward to my Poshmark 1-year update coming up in the very near future. Bye everybody.